Hey, good morning. You may not be able to see it too well, but it's a beautiful sunrise coming up over the Atlantic Ocean, and the moon looks pretty nice, and there's some stars above it and stuff. And you know, I wanted to talk about meditation and how to kind of get what's called an even flow in the brain. Sometimes talking about these things or whatever stuff is kind of awkward for me because it's kind of a little embarrassing and stuff. Thinking I'm all that or not, and I'm not all that. I just have had a lot of success in my personal life, and I've done a lot of research in order to have that happen. So, man, sometimes you just want to pass stuff on. You just want to kind of, if things have worked really well for you and stuff, you don't want to go to your grave with it. You just want to maybe help other people and stuff. So anyway, I'm just trying to talk about that. So take it for what it will. But one of my idols in bodybuilding was Schwarzenegger, and stuff. I was pretty psycho with my bodybuilding. I really tried to push things to the extreme. I wanted, looking good was not my goal. Looking like freaky was my goal and stuff. And I would go to great ends to do that and stuff. And it was just my personal thing. I wasn't doing that for anybody else. It was my own goals and stuff that I would set. And so a lot of times I would be processing microbiology and in my training routine, trying to figure out how to increase the permeability of the intestinal wall so it could process nutrients quicker, or increase the permeability of the muscle cell wall with vanadyl sulfate or chromium picolinate, insulin enhancers and mimickers and stuff. And anyway, like I said, I got really deep into this stuff, but I would reach plateaus that I couldn't get past, And when I got to those plateaus and stuff, I would go back to Schwarzenegger, man, on the basics. He says, go back to the basics. Whenever you had a problem, he would ask me these complicated questions. He says, I always go back to the basics. And the basics to Schwarzenegger was protein and carbohydrates, and the relationship between protein and carbohydrates that you took in. So, you want to have a more fuller look, you'd increase your carbohydrates. You want to have more shredded look, you'd decrease your carbs. And same thing with protein. Sometimes you need to take more in, you need to space it out, more time it between your workouts, or it's the isolate protein or a milk-based protein or a whey-based protein and stuff. Anyway, man, so you get sometimes with meditation, kind of get to the basics, the core of what's going on with meditation and stuff. Tesla talked about when society starts thinking in the form of frequency, vibration, and energy, great advances will be made in society. And I think we're really on the precipice of it right now. We're probably kind of going through it instead of on the precipice. And quantum physics has a lot to do with that. With quantum physics, it's pretty much based solely on those three principles. And so with meditation, man, vibration, frequency, energy plays a big role in trying to make gains with that. A lot of times we're kind of inhibited by this limbic system, this really complex structure inside our brain. It has many subdivisions to it that are responsible for many different things and stuff. So trying to figure out how to control that limbic system, not control, but maybe subdue it, because usually we're a victim to our childhood or very traumatic experiences that have happened in our adult life. But a lot of times it's primarily based on our childhood and the experiences that we had and the role models that we had in that. So if you think about if you divide the brain into three quadrants, I'm just saying that, man, you can divide the brain into 10,000 quadrants. So just basically three quadrants, the base of the brain, which basically has to have a strong correlation with the world around it. So it's communicating with the world around it through frequency, energy, and vibration. It controls our blood pressure, dilates, constricts the vessel. I mean, it's just a myriad of things that it's going on, So it has this very intimate relationship with life, And then there's the limbic system, which has its own energy and vibration frequency, because it has these thoughts that are kind of torturous sometimes, or maybe they're very calm and relaxed thoughts, And then there's the frontal lobe. And the frontal lobe has the ability to either accentuate the feelings and emotions of the limbic system or subdue them or whatever stuff. So depending upon how much our ego is controlling us, the less in tune we are to the ego, we can actually kind of objectify our limbic system or our midbrain and observe our ego and see how it's affecting our life. So trying to get those three aspects of our brain in it, what's called, in my book, an even flow. You have this relationship between them, and the more closer in line we have the limbic system and the neocortex in with the base of the brain, the more in tune we are into life. We have this connection to this intelligence that's really profound. I once heard that with Moses and the burning bush, the burning bush was always burning. Moses just became aware of it. He was able to understand that. And I think that happens to a lot of us in life. When we finally wake up, we get to this, wow, man, I'm feeling light. I know stuff that I never knew before. It's because we kind of see the burning bush in life. We see the foundation of things. We're not caught up in this, idea that is ego driven, that we kind of, we come in low on life, and so a great way to kind of objectify instead of subjectively be our midbrain, objectify those emotions and feelings we're thinking about, is trying to subdue that. And a great way to do that is through audio. When you're meditating, include audio and include visual. And I'll just briefly describe those. If you listen to certain frequencies in your ear, this thing called binaural beats, which has one frequency coming in one ear and another frequency coming in the other ear, and the difference between those two beats is what causes what's called an illusory beat, that actually the brain picks up the difference. So if it's 400 frequency in one ear and 420 in the other, the brain picks up 20 frequencies for some reason, and it bounces off what's called the corpus callosum, which divides the brain, and it sends that 20 frequency vibration in throughout the brain, which actually kind of can help bring your brain into a brain entrainment, or this level, this even flow, and there's different frequencies that you can actually adjust that to, whether it's you get down to an 8 or 12 or 16, and their response, what they're called different wavelengths. There's a theta wave, which monks spend 10 hours usually of meditation to get into a theta wave. Well, some of these audio simulations, you can get into a theta wave in like 20 minutes, 30 minutes listening to these assisted meditation techniques. And then there's the visual aspect, a lot of visual. Look at certain visual techniques, and they incorporate lateral ability to focus on the lateral environment or around your eye, instead of having this focused vision, or depth perception, a long distance and a short distance, and that has an effect of what's called the amygdala inside the limbic system. The amygdala, there's a lot of parts to it, so I'm just talking about one part, but the amygdala has a lot of our frustration, our emotions, and our anger. And when we use those type of visual techniques, it actually has a passive effect on the amygdala and kind of calms the amygdala down. So if you incorporate those things, and if you look at on my YouTube list, I have some videos that incorporate eye enhancement and audio frequencies to in tune your meditation. It might really help you. I just wanted to pass that on. I hope you guys are doing great, and try to make today a good day. And the way I make today a good day is by having goals. And I say, any goals. You know what I'm saying? Just try to achieve something more than you usually do. Just put a little extra into today. It's amazing what that does. Pays off, and it has a cumulative effect. It starts building up. It's kind of like the snowball going down the hill. Anyway, I hope some of this helped you guys, and have a good day, man. Bye.